Welcome, everybody. This is Insanity Check. Back at you once again. No, Skillet Sauce didn't get so skinny that you can't see him. He is actually not here today, at least not in body. He will be joining us in a little while, probably next segment, calling in from his secret Skillet's cave location. But we still have 8 here who will be my company today. It is March 20th, and right off the bat, once again, we are on Facebook at Insanity Check. We are on Twitter, Insanity Check 12, and we are on YouTube, our YouTube channel, Insanity Check Radio. Again, where you can find all of these shows in its full wondrous glory. Hasn't been a good few weeks for the black folks, apparently. We're going to start out today. Again, Skillet will be joining us in a little while. He'll be calling in. We actually touched on a couple of these stories, but this one we didn't talk about too much, so I'm going to start with this one. The Steubenville rape case. Apparently, there was a conviction, as you all probably have heard. 2 high school football players, Trent Mays and Malik Richmond, were found guilty of raping a 16-year-old girl during a night of partying, frolicking, and frivolity. Unfortunately, she didn't know anything about it because she was drunk out of her fucking mind. As the story goes, there was, again, a huge party, and she came from Virginia, I think, to go to this party, and got incredibly drunk, and these boys, the whole football team, well, not the whole football team, several members of the football team took advantage of her inebriated and comatose state. The interesting part here is that the girl in question, the victim, she didn't even remember anything when she got up the next day. That's how drunk she was.
Now, all these kids were of African American descent, or because initially when I heard it, because you told me the story right before you went on air, I'm thinking, right, okay, white people, automatic, book it. But when you said Malik was the kid's first name, that automatically triggered African American. So
yeah, well, definitely there is a shot here of a very distraught Malik Richmond.
Black guy. Black kid.
Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not sure what Trent Mays looks like.
Oh, he's black.
Are you sure?
Yeah. With the last name Mays, he's black. His father's probably Muslim.
Mays?
Yeah, probably so.
Okay. If you say so.
Yeah, that's what my bet is.
All right.
And he probably owns a pit bull.
Well, fortunately, the pit bull wasn't abused in this case. I will try to get a picture of Mr. Mays here shortly. But so basically, again, this girl didn't even remember anything happened. She had no marks on her body. Apparently, whatever they did to her wasn't very brutal. It wasn't forceful. But these kids screwed themselves, as the youth tend to do these days, as everyone really tends to do these days. No, Trent Mays apparently is a Caucasian.
Get out of here.
Yeah. You're not supposed to say that.
He's a white boy.
How am I supposed to say that?
Yeah, you're right. Let me try to find home. Yeah, Trent is a little doughy-faced Caucasian boy.
Get out of here.
I saw his picture. I saw parts, little flashes of him, so I kind of figured he was the other kid, which is probably why no one's screaming rape or, racial epithets or, black people are savages or we're, shaved monkeys or of the like, because one of the culprits here is a white young male. The victim is a female. Well, we know that. She's a white female.
Right. Could have been a dog.
Right. Because one of the pictures, so again, these cats, in the process of doing it, so at one point, they had this girl in the back seat of a car. she was pretty much either near unconsciousness or was unconscious. And at this point, one of the gentlemen, I believe it was Mays, he started fingering her. He was sticking his fingers in her vagina. And some next kid thought, hey, this is video material. So he videotaped it and took pictures. And so again, the victim had no idea anything happened to her until she started getting or seeing tweets and Facebooks and, all the rest of this shit of herself, unconscious, of herself half naked, or at one point she was completely naked, of herself being dragged, by her ankles and wrists by, the two defendants. And then she was like, holy shit, and told her parents, and the parents took her to the hospital, and then they went to the police. And of course, now you have this.
Well, and just my take on the situation is I think that holy shit that you alluded to earlier was more out of embarrassment than lack of memory. And I don't blame her for the most part. You understand what I'm saying? But when you're drunk and you probably took the pictures, I guess she hoped or assumed that all of this stuff wouldn't get out, or whatever the case may be. I don't know if she was necessarily how inebriated she was, or
no, the pictures, and I've only seen.
It's clearly that she was like out of her mind.
Well, I mean, that's what the reports are from the pictures. They of course are blurring her face.
What is she, like caveman style, like just laid out on the floor?
Well, the only one I saw was the one where they were holding her up off the floor by her ankles and by her wrists. So, but she was completely limp. I mean, again, there were pictures, so I'm, you pretty much can't mistake, closed eyes for open eyes or anything like that. So I'm going to say that I'm going to go with, because the trial's already done. They saw all the evidence, and these guys were bragging about, again, ha ha ha, look at what we did, blah 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 blah. And they I don't know, youthful stupidity. They claimed that they didn't realize that they were raping her because, again, no one was banging away at her. She wasn't scratching anyone's eyes out. She wasn't screaming for help, which of course is probably because she was unconscious. So I guess, you get a little finger action, and, you tweak a couple of nipples, and, again, I believe one guy tried to stick his dick in her open mouth of unconsciousness. So, I don't know if that actually happened, but that was what was in the report.
Yeah, she really, that is almost caveman style. Drunk, like she is she seems to be, unless they're playing like human jump rope.
Right, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So she was out of it. She's completely fucked up, and so. But
they took also nude photos of her. Or?
Well, that's what I read. Of course, they won't show that. I read the report that's what, and again, most of this information they were getting was from the photos and the texts that these guys were shooting out all over the place.
Yeah, so they basically did it to themselves.
Yeah, they did it to themselves. Part of the issue, again, I read another adjacent article to this, was that they may be going after the kid's head coach, because, of course, now this is in Steubenville, Ohio, where, high school football is, right underneath God's ass. The whole town stops because high school football is fucking going on. One of these places where there's nothing else to do besides, fuck a cow or go watch kids play high school football. So it's believed, not for certain, but it's believed that the coach knew what happened and was trying to impede the progress of the police and, justice to try and protect these kids. Other people have said who didn't even want to be identified as a witness or be named in the articles that I read because they were afraid of the police, that the cops were even in on trying to, conceal these kids, and so that, the high school football can go on as usual.
Right, a mini Paterno situation.
Right, exactly. Wow. So this has disturbed, obviously a lot of people, because some people, this case was actually brought to my attention by a friend of mine who was a female, and her outrage was that, people were actually saying, oh my God, these poor boys, their lives are ruined, because now this will be following them. Because basically they got, I think, a year in juvenile detention. They did try them as juveniles, so they're getting like a year in juvie. I think perhaps the kid who was fingering the girl, he's going to be allowed to be held if they choose up until he's 21 in prison. So who knows if that's going to happen now. But they're like, oh my God, these poor kids, their lives are ruined. The success that they were looking
Yeah,
forward
but
to.
they posted the pictures themselves.
Of course.
Right.
See, this is the shit. Like, yeah,
they did it to themselves.
They did it to themselves.
Right.
You
have your co-host on the line as well.
He's here?
Yeah.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, we're tad early, but we love him anyway. Skillet Sauce is on the line.
That's copywritten. You guys can't keep saying that, man.
What? They did it to themselves. Yeah, well, show me the papers, and we'll talk about it. On the line from the Skillet Cave.
You did it to yourself.
What? What'd you say?
Skillet, you can't listen to the show on the computer and then talk to us live. You do realize that, right?
No, hold on a second, man. We just have a little. I just gotta.
Holding up the show. Well, you get back to me when you're ready. So
I'm just. Yeah, there's a mad delay. I know.
Yeah, now you know.
All right, so I can hear you guys completely now. I'm hearing you real time. I just wanted to see you guys' faces to see. I thought you was going to be on the air.
Well, obviously, if I'm talking to you, Skillet, I am on.
No, I mean I thought you was going to go take my seat.
Nah. I don't have anybody over here to work the boards. That's kind of far on that side of the room. But I'm here though in spirit.
Oh, okay. No, I see you. You've been chiming in big time. No, I didn't want to cut your thing. It's just that I wanted to know, were there any more photographs than the one that everyone has seen with those guys basically picking her up off the floor?
Well, I personally haven't seen any. Again, remember, this is a rape case, number one. Two, this is a juvenile, so there's not going to be too many pictures, of her naked body or whatever. But these are just from what I read. As I just told 8, most of the stuff that I'm telling you was got from these dumb little bastards, tweets, Instagrams, or whatever the shit they was using, their texts. They fucked themselves royally because they were, basically bragging about the whole shit. But again, as I was saying, from what I read, this is commonplace, not just to these individual football players. It's common to this whole this program. Again, this is one of those, these are the high school the football players are the gods, and the story says that this is normal. These kids, they party, they drink, even though they're underage. They do this at their friends' parents' houses, and the parents just like, yeah, go ahead.
But you know what?
Knock yourself out.
I will say this though. I think this is normal, not only for high school football players, but it's more or less normal for society. Period. No. What are you saying? Something? What are you saying?
No. I was just saying because the thing that concerns me about this whole thing is I can't believe there's actually anybody that's divided. How can anybody be divided about something like this when...
Because these kids are football gods,
this makes no sense because whether they're tried as juvies or as adults, what they did is a two-part thing. First of all, you shouldn't be raping anybody. And second of all, this is just, to me, indicative, once again, of this digital age where people feel that they must share everything that they do in their life.
Well, sure, of course. But listen... Again, you know how this shit goes. You got your, these star athletes or whatever. People want to protect them. Like I said, I don't know if you heard, they might be going after the head coach because it's believed that the head coach knew what happened and was trying to protect them. Some people were coming to these reporters and were like, "Yo, the cops knew what happened, but it's the high school football team. They have to save them." So I'm trying to be sure it was people in the town that were like, "Oh my God, these poor kids, because they're our heroes." I'm sure the girls looked at it as a whore and a slut. The common shit, but you know what? Too fucking bad. Quite frankly, I don't know if it's because, like I said, one of these kids are white. I don't know if that saved the black kid, but something tells me if this were 2 black kids, they'd be looking at a lot worse fucking trouble than 1 year in juvie jail or detention or wherever the fuck they're going to be. So when I first heard that they only got a year of juvie, I'm like, yo, you fucking got off. You were lucky.
Yeah, they definitely got off. I mean, and now because I just came and I just heard the part where you was talking about maybe possibly one would be tried as an adult. I mean, how was that situation going?
No, not tried as an adult.
If you have the wherewithal to go through with an act that they knew what drunk and was not drunk, they knew that, and then to actually post that, I think they all should have been tried as adults.
No, well, no, one is not going to get tried as an adult. Like I said, I think it may be the one who put his fingers in the girl. They may have the option to keep him in detention in juvie prison until he's 21. I don't think they're going to try him at that point, but because they all got 1 year. But I think because maybe his acts were the worst, they have the option to hold him over for another, I guess, 3 years if he's because he is 17 now. So he'll be there till he's 18. I guess they can hold him until he's 21. But I don't know if they're going to do that. But no, not being tried. I wouldn't say they're being tried they should be tried as adult because again, I don't know if you heard, but the girl woke up the next morning and didn't even know anything had happened, and not just because she was so drunk, but there wasn't a mark on her. So it wasn't
so they raped her, but they took care of her.
If you want to call it that, you can call it that. All I'm saying is, and people probably going to get fucking pissed off about it, but whatever. There is a difference between doing something stupid and doing something with serious malicious intent.
Right. They took advantage of her.
Absolutely.
You're understanding that.
Right.
But you're saying it was more young, dumb rather than being malicious.
Right. I mean, seriously, how many women wake up from a raping and don't know it? I mean, I don't think that happens very often.
I mean, these dudes could have just had good lube. I don't know. I mean, it's still rape. It's still. But
like I said, I don't think she was actually penetrated by certainly not a dick. She got penetrated by fingers. But as I'm saying, I don't think any of them actually penetrated her, from what I read. See, that's what I'm saying. This is almost as tantamount to and it's not the same thing as getting cheap feels on a subway or in a dance club or whatever, but that's kind of like the mind state that I see from these kids. We're not mad rapists. We're just, drunk, stupid, young, and there's free tits and pussy laying in front of us. Yeah, it's wrong, but, we're dumb and we're going to do it. So I wouldn't necessarily say that they should be tried as adults. Yeah, they did. My first instinct was that they got off easy. But I wouldn't say, try to hold these dudes over for 5 and 10 years in jail, like a hardcore rapist and shit.
I know. It's not like how you see in those movies and stuff like that. But still, I think you need to set a precedence because I don't know. I think what disturbs me more is the fact that they actually was stupid enough and insensitive enough and ignorant enough to take the photograph. See, that's the part that really messes me up.
But seriously, come on.
You hear it all the time. Dudes go to a party, they try to purposely get the girl drunk so she, her inhibitions would be,
right,
less. But to me, once they photographed it, that's my problem. That's my main problem.
Seriously,
once they photographed it, they took it to a different level in my head.
But you, of all people, are complaining about that? How many stories have you brought in here where dudes are cutting people's fucking heads off and photographing it?
No, I know, of course, and I'm telling you, I think it's that to me is the part that disturbs me most about this particular story and all stories like this. Do your dirt. If you're a heinous monster, if you're a rapist, if you're whatever, even if you are a collector like Dexter, who takes blood samples, the character from the Showtime show, takes blood samples and hides them. But once you start, to me, it's so callous and almost like disconnected from reality because don't these people think that there's repercussions to exposing other people to what you've done? See, that's what I said. To me, it's just being a rapist or being anything, you are what you are, whatever it is. But when they start sharing it, and it's like, don't you think you're going to get in trouble? Don't you think someone is going to take offense to what you've done? Don't you think maybe the person when she sobers up will look at it and because I'm pretty sure even if it was consensual, but they recorded it without her knowledge and then put, pictures of her drunk, doing, not drunk, but doing whatever, she'd still have, an issue with it. So the fact that it wasn't within her consent and they still took the pictures and posted up, people need to there should be something about these idiots that decide to just post all of this shit up, man. I really don't understand it. This generation weaned on this, I don't know what it is, man, but it just doesn't make sense to me.
Well, I'm not going to blame the technology because, but I think it's almost to it's almost the effect of, a kid with a new toy because it's not just kids. Like I said, we've been talking about adults doing this for weeks now. Yeah. So, I think it's I think people it's like they're too giddy. Like, I can do it, so I'm going to do it. And that's just.
Well, you know what? I don't know what case it's going to be in order to, put a cease to, I mean, just to awaken people that you don't share everything. I mean, as it is, we did the story back in the beginning of the show with the dude, holding a woman hostage in a cabin, the guy that is beaten off in the airplane, and a girl, the little girl comes in and sees. These are things that you're supposed to take to your grave.
Yeah,
the fact that you feel the need to, in any form, share this with a mass audience, not even amongst your own peer group or whatever, to a mass audience is just ridiculous. Because once it goes viral, you can't put it back in the bottle.
Right.
You know what? I'm actually glad you said that, because I'm pretty happy, and I guess pretty lucky that your aunt never took those photographs of you in the bath with her and shared them on Instagram or any of those social networks. So I'm happy about that much, Skillet Sauce.
Yo, so hold on a second.
No, hold on, shit. We have to take a break. But anyway, we will be right back, myself and my distant partner, Skillet Sauce, on Insanity Check in a couple of minutes.
We're trying to make it